welcome to my first YouTube tutorial. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to paint the universe or a galaxy effect using watercolors. Okay, to create a galaxy effect, first you're going to need some watercolor paper. Any brand will work, just make sure it says watercolor, and I like to use cold press. And you're going to need watercolors. These are Winsor & Newton, they're my favorites. And I also like to use Dr. Martin's concentrated watercolors. I have a bunch of colors here, purple. If you have blue and pink, it'll be more than enough. You also need some paintbrushes. This is a really fine one, which will be good for the end, the detail part. And these two are a little thicker, but they're round at the end. And then these messier ones will be for stars later. We're also going to use some salt, which this bird is my salt shaker. This is some bleach, water, which is here, and these ceramic bowls are good for the liquid watercolors also. So you're going to start with just some water and kind of just randomly place it on your paper. We're going to create a texture here, so it doesn't really matter what it looks like at first. Okay. So I just put a drop. You just need a little drop of these because they're concentrated and they're really, really bright, which is cool for this specific kind of painting we're making. So part of my paper is kind of wet right now, and I'm just going to start applying some of the watercolor like that. So you can also kind of mix up. I'm using this right now. Usually with watercolor, you don't want to just use the direct color, you kind of want to mix it up with others so you can create a more organic feel to it. So my paint is still wet here, and I'm just going to start adding color. It's important to use black here too because it is a spacey effect, and we're going to need darks at the end so that you can see the stars. Okay, this was black India ink, but you can use concentrated watercolor as well. So you can do some really cool stuff with this. So this part of the exercise is really free. You can just basically add color as you like. So you're going to want to do different sections while the other one dries. Here, I'm starting some over here. Notice how I'm not really doing brush strokes like this. It's more like you're just letting the water flow on paper. I'm going to add some of my Winsor & Newton black also, just to mix it up. So now's a good time to start using some salt. You don't want to pour too much on it because then it will never dry, but a little like that is good. And just kind of like leave this area alone for a bit while you start painting the rest. Okay. So we're going to pick up where we left off here. And I'm just going to be adding some more colors as we go. What's this? Okay, this yellow is kind of cool. You can also just like drop some directly on the paper. And just let this dry, it'll do its magic on its own. We're mixing up our blues here. One of the cool things of watercolor is transparencies, which means you can do layers over layers. So here, it's kind of fun to leave some little windows sometimes. See how I left some areas white? That means that then I'll paint over it and you'll see a different texture. So I'm going to start somewhere else now. Eventually, all these little blobs are going to just turn into like one magical spacey effect. Okay. Notice how I'm leaving the part with salt alone. You don't want to touch it or move it around because it'll just ruin it. Well, okay, when you use watercolors, there's no actual white paint. Water is white, so wherever you use more water, it'll be more transparent, and that's how you create just like different dimensions to it. So this area here is lighter. I'm going to leave it that way, but I didn't let it dry completely so that when I do darker colors on the edge, it'll kind of blend in on its own, so it looks like nebula. Okay. But I'm going to use this tone here that I don't have in concentrate. This might be a good time to start adding some bleach, which works better on some paint than other. You can just kind of see what happens. I'm using a Q-tip because bleach will destroy your brushes. So as it dries, it'll start to discolor. Sometimes you have to move the paint around because it kind of gets into a little puddle, so you don't want it to just be in all one spot. So you kind of move the paper around. You can see what the bleach has started to do here. It almost looks like tie-dye. It's really cool. sometimes you have to take breaks because you need to let some sections dry. As you can see here, this part here, the bleach ate up part of this color, so we're just going to paint over it. Some of my ink just spilled here, but it's okay because we're just going to paint over it.
Bier, Cola, Fanta, Apfelsaft, Whisky, Marz, 1, 2, 3, 4. Separés, Tische, Stühle, Gläser, Scherben, Blut, Leuchtfarben, lange Haare, kurze Haare, aufgemalte Wimpern, aufgemalte Sommersprossen, Lackstoffe, Lackleder, März, Oktober, Trommelrevolver, Messer, Lederarmband, Totschläger, Silberkette mit Namen drauf, Stoff, blaues Licht, blaues Vivil, Martinshorn, Blaulicht, Tanzfläche, bewegte Ziele, gezielte Bewegungen, Mikrofon, Schaltjahr.
Okay, so we're done with the watercolor segment. We have this nice texture in the background, and once it's dried really well, we're going to remove the salt, just like this. Until your paper is smooth.